So for the summary, as the internal audit senior overseeing the assurance engagement of the XYZ company's payroll process, the task involves auditing a process that hasn't been reviewed in 3 years. The payroll management implemented corrective actions to address these issues, and limited follow-up procedures were conducted by the internal audit function to ensure completion of these actions. This current audit marks the first review since the follow-up procedures were carried out. The key details for the payroll assurance engagement include the size of the workforce, bi-weekly payment schedule, specific hourly wage structure, utilization of the payroll system interfacing with the general ledger, establishment of a separate payroll impress account, and reduction of various non-payroll items from the checks. Additionally, the payroll expenses and related accruals are considered material to the company, highlighting their significance in the financial operations of XYZ. So, the payroll department objectives are the following: implement finance office strategies effectively, ensure accurate and timely payment of employee salaries, transmit data efficiency to IT to prevent worker update delays, and periodically reconcile benefit member list with employee or retired records.
So now, let's proceed to the potential payroll risk. But first, let us know what is impact and what is likelihood. So impact. This is the severity of outcomes caused by risk events. This can be measured in financial, reputation, legal, or other types of outcomes. While likelihood, in the other hand, this is the probability that a risk event will occur. So as you can see here, there are three different colors: the red ones, the yellow ones, and the white ones. This red shading, these are considered high risk, while this yellow shading, this is considered medium risk, while the no shading or the white ones are considered low risk. So in order for us to know what level of risk the risk here, we need to combine the impact and the likelihood. So first is the duplicate payment risk. For the impact, it is high, and for the likelihood, it is low. So if we combine this, we have a medium risk. So the shading is the color yellow. So for the next one is the policies and procedures implementation risk. So for the impact, it is high, and for the likelihood, it is medium. So if we combine this, it is a high risk. So next is the supporting document risk. For the impact, it is medium, and for the likelihood, it is also medium. So if we combine this, it is a medium risk, so the yellow shading. So for the last one is the time cards of employees risk. For the impact, it is medium, and for the likelihood, it is high. So if we combine this, it is a medium risk, so the yellow shading again.
We have here the process flowchart. The process flowchart provided outlines the steps involved in a particular process or system. Each shape in the flowchart represents a different action or decision point, and the arrows between show the flow of the process. So first we have here the start and end, and the shape of this is oval, and it represents the beginning and the end of the process. It's where the process starts and where it is finishes. Then we have the decision. It is the diamond shape, and it indicates a decision point where a question is asked or a condition is evaluated, leading to different paths depending on the answer or condition. Then we have process. It is the rectangle shape, and it represents a task or action that needs to be performed as the part of the process. Then we have here an input and output. It is the parallelogram shape, and it represents input or output of data, typically from or external sources. Then, the connector. It is the small circle shape, serve as the connector, allowing the flow to continue on another page or part of the flowchart. By the following flowchart form, from start to finish, one can understand the sequence of action, decisions, and data input and output involved in the process. Each step is connected to the next, guiding the users through the process systematically.
The process flowchart provided indicates the steps involved in the XYZ company payroll process. Here is the step-by-step explanation of the process flowchart. Number 1, employee information input. The process starts with the input of employee information into the payroll system. This includes details such as employee name, employee ID, position, and other relevant information. Timekeeping. The next step is the timekeeping process where employees record their working hours. This can be done through timesheets, locking in and out, system, or any other approved method. Pay calculation. Based on the record working hours, the payroll system calculates the pay for each employee. For salaried employees, their pay is determined, while for hourly employees, their pay is calculated based on the number of hours worked. Overall, the process flowchart provides an overview of the steps involved in the XYZ company payroll process and highlights the importance of internal audit in ensuring the accuracy, compliance, and effectiveness of the process.
The potential key performance indicators in this case study are the following. First is systematized frameworks are fully implemented for all arrangement and methods. Second, employee records undergo continuous updates and modifications through multiple control measures. Third, the duplicate payments are made beyond regular salary. And fourth is each employee, whether hourly or salaried, is assigned a unique control number. These are the considered key controls in this case study. First is the separate record keeping, calculation, and approval task with finance representatives handling financial data separately from payroll processing. Second, appoint a neutral finance representative as a supervisor to ensure checks and balances in the system. Third, supervisors should conduct surprise checks to verify attendance and timesheets. Fourth, follow proper protocols for changes to payments and timesheets for ghost employees. Fifth, implement access controls in the payroll system for terminated employees, including passwords and authorization levels. Sixth, the payroll system should alert the independent finance personnel of any inclusion of terminated employees and ghost workers. Seventh, automatically update employee records if they are still in the system and capable of being updated. And lastly, number 8, organize supporting records chronologically to match the benefits received by each employee. Those K control activity are being classified according to their type of risk. The first and second K control activity are classified as policies and procedures implementation risk. The third one is classified as time cards of employee risk. The fourth to number 6 is classified as duplication of payment risk. And the last one is classified as supporting document risk.
Now let's proceed to the risk and control matrix in terms of design adequacy. First is the policies and procedures implementation risk. It states that the absence of clear and procedures can lead to dissatisfaction, like having one person responsible to payroll despite established departmental values. The said key control activities are adequate to manipulate the policies and procedures implementation risks to a tolerable level. Next is the time cards of employee risk. It states that the employees inappropriately provide their respective time sheet when it needs to be turned over to the payroll clerk. These said key control activities are adequate to manipulate the time cards of employee risk to a tolerable level. Next is the duplication of payment risk. It states that the inability to recognize the consideration of the fired employees and not able to distinguish representatives guiding installments to themselves by making and paying non-existent representatives, or what we call phantom workers on finance. The said key control activities are insufficient to manage payment duplication risk. The last one is what we call supporting document risk. It states that the risk of misplaced or withheld source documents affecting employee benefits. The key control activities are insufficient to manage supporting document risk. Now let's proceed to the risk and matrix control testing approaches, results, and conclusion. According to the process level risk, the testing approach is to evaluate isolation obligations in the arrangement, choose 260 salaried and 180 hourly employees for sampling, each with 4% intermediate rate, review rules and regulations, review timesheets for its validity and reasonableness, test pay rate system, review employee list. And then to the testing conclusion, according to the results of testing, we conclude that the results indicated proper implementation of controls in line with payroll department policies and procedures with ongoing compliance checks. Next, this systematic controls designed adequately and operating effectively to reduce risk. Weakness is systems still vulnerable to duplication with altered control numbers. Lastly, controls designed adequately with minimal possibility of ineffectiveness.
Significant observation: the possibility exists that phantom or ghost employees could be included in the payroll without detection. So observation: overpayment of salaries. Recommendation: the payroll department must segregate duties among its staff. Next, significant observation: hours paid to non-exempt employees were not supported by approved timesheets. Observation: underpayment of salaries. So our recommendation: prevent these issues by printing lists at the payroll start and marking names when you receive their timesheets.
So next significant observation, information pertaining to employees leaving the company was not communicated to the IT department, resulting in extended delays before those employee assistance rights were terminated. So in the table, basing on the recommendation, which is IT department should dependably speak with HR department regularly, and HR should conduct quarterly audits of employee records and control numbers. So it is clearly stated here that regular communication between IT department and HR is crucial for ensuring data security, compliance, and smooth operations within an organization. Because, for example, if an employee resigns or being terminated, their access to the sensitive company systems information should be promptly revoked in order to mitigate the risk. Because if ever the HR fails to report or notify the IT department, it could result in unauthorized access to company resources, potentially compromising the data security. Next significant observation, amounts withheld for employees were not consistent with elections made by the employees. So still basing on the recommendation, which is organize benefit-related supporting documents and improve communication with employees in the department.
So, for example, to be fair with the employees, the organization may establish a shared drive where employees can easily access documents such as benefit enrollment, forms, and policy manuals, and by implementing regular email updates or host informational session to keep employees informed about their benefits and any updates or changes to program. That's all.